Well, I didn't get my vax today, but I think they just took all the older people that were waiting instead of me. I'm only 37, so I'm fine with that. I get it. But the real question is, whom are all these people that be working here? I'll throw my mask off, dude. Who are all these people? Yeah. Maybe they just want to wave their arms. Thank you. Well, if Bill the Butcher was here, he wouldn't have taken any. Took a no for an answer. But that's okay. I'm not ready to slice anybody's liver out. Man, they be having pigs, and they're gutting them, and they're practicing slicing and dicing into like pigs, and you're seeing Butcher just be like, that's good, yeah, that's good, yeah, that's a kill, you gotta bleed the arteries, you gotta do all this. And you just see Leo having the perplexed look for a second of this dude killed my dad, and he's such a great father figure there also. He's encouraging, he's really doing it for me. Yeah. You should find out who. I want to say it's a James Cameron movie, but I'm probably wrong. But best villain ever, Bill the Butcher. He just doesn't seem afraid of anybody. I think at the end he's just too old and too tired, but he accepts it. And then he's also got props for Leo's dad, for Priest Valen, the only, let's say, maybe something like the only good worthy adversary in all his years. So he's a bad dude, but he's got that respect, and he has respect for his enemy at one point. And yeah, what was it? Ears and noses will be the trophies of the day, but no man shall touch him. No man shall touch him. And then he just gutted him, finished him off right in front of Leo, and that part was intense too. And he didn't even do it with one of those badass cleavers or sharp ones. It was like just a steak knife at the end, which I always observed was odd that it was the small little steak knife that he finished it off with. I don't know, not that it matters, but I think I want a little more bang for my buck when it's go time. So I would have probably used the cleaver. I guess that's too big to get up in there. Maybe I'm worrying about the wrong things. Bill the Butcher. Gosh, and there's just dead people in the middle of New York in the 5 Points, Murderer's Alley. Oh, and then then you got all the gangs that are like announcing themselves in the beginning. The O'Connell gang, the Pug Uglies, and that's a great scene too. Is when Leo comes back and he met up with that dude Johnny that helped him out back in the day. And he's asking about all the gangs that are still around, and he's explaining them the 40 thieves and the little wet rascals and the this and the that, and the just too many good characters in that movie, and the sets were amazing. It made me think this was what New York was like. Granted, it was probably even worse than that. And then the costumes, clothing, whatever was, it all hit right. They did a great job on that. I hope it made money. I'm assuming it did. But I still think Leo has never won the big award, and think it should have been for that year. And then I mentioned Gladiator earlier. Now that movie, another movie where in the first 20 minutes it's just so graphic and so grab holding of the audience. It just, when the frost sticks to the blade and then he just slices him and dices him, too good. Such a great begin fight scene also. When he whips around and the eyes open too far and he finds out it's one of his homies, he just starts chuckling. And then I think it cuts to at the end of the day where he's washing all the blood off and mud and muck off his hands. And I think at that I have a little better understanding of why I like that one. Is I've always been interested in the Roman and Greek mythology and over there across the pond, all the stuff, the classics over there, which was almost my major. I almost majored in classics, which I think meant I was going to study a lot of mythology, Greek and Roman ancient history, and then do what with that? I could never figure out what I was going to do with that. Besides be a teacher, and I don't think I could teach Greek and Roman mythology in high school, even though I did have a mythology class, but it was so basic, and not like the I think it was Classics 140, which I took, which I then later found out I didn't even need. But I'm glad I took it because it was awesome. It was just more and more mythology stories, and Rome and Greece, they overlap a lot, but not sure what it is about the myths and the gods. And I think that was it, always a fascination with the god of the underworld, the god of war, and the god of the sea, Poseidon or Neptune, which was always my favorite one. I think just because it sounded cool. Poseidon or Neptune, that's another good movie, Poseidon. Not the new one, which I didn't see, but the one with Gene Hackman and some other people where they're in a boat that's just slowly capsizing out in the middle of the water, and they're just feverishly trying to get out and get up and get out to safety. And I think a couple of them do, but there's a great scene where Gene Hackman's, he's like holding onto some ladder, and it's apparent that he probably can't make it through, and everybody wants him to, and he knows he's just gonna have to drop into his own death just to keep the rest of them going. And Poseidon, or Poseidon's tomb, or Poseidon's something, I don't know, but yeah, Gladiator. And then I ended up using, I want to say the first 20 minutes of Gladiator when I was I student teaching? I think I was student teaching, or I was when I took over in now it was student teaching at Helix, because we had some vocab words, and there was 5 of them that were all within this the first 20 minutes of no, it must have been at San Marcos with the government, because we were talking about government stuff and republic and this and that, so it must have been that. And it was, to be honest, it was just an excuse for us to watch a badass movie for 20 minutes, and some people had saw it and were excited. Some people just went on their phone and just screwed around, and some people kind of casually watched. And if you're not a teacher that's grinding, you're gonna have a good split of that stuff. Just some are paying attention, some aren't. Some you'll get their attention, and some will never show up. It's like a four-way split. don't know. I guess if you're grinding, it shouldn't be a 4-way split. You're actually doing it. I don't know. And that's why I'm not a teacher anymore. Because saying I don't know is not the popular response. So, who dat?